myself. Oh, it's telling me that I can't rotate my phone. Am I like sideways for you now? I'm going to try and get it up on here as well so I can see what's going on. I don't know why it's not liking that. Let me try it. Take it out. Okay, so I don't want my orientation this way. I want it to be the other way. Why is it always, I always find this with YouTube Live. Oh, hey Giselle. Any ideas, peeps, on how to how to let it turn? No, it keeps saying it won't let me do that. Annoying. Okay, well we might have to do it like this, which is a bit of a bummer. But oh hey Kyra, let me clip that in onto the clamp ideally, if I can get it in. Wow, this is not a very professional start to the situation, is it? Okay, how's that? Oh wow, so it's telling me that, oh, it might be my phone. Yeah, maybe I have got it locked, but I don't even know how. No, I don't think I have. I don't think it's locked on there. Never mind, let's not worry about it. We'll just do it like this. This is fine, isn't it? If it's probably not that great if you're watching like on a laptop or something, but if you're watching on a phone, then it should be okay, shouldn't it? So 26 people here. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of people here already. So oh, okay, Liz says her phone always looks narrow like that. Hi Stacey. So I could see some of you been chatting before I even like got on. I was just getting myself a pot of tea and some water and a few bits and bobs of things like that. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a little chat about the Virgo moon energies. We're actually into the new moon now. It was the Virgo new moon this morning, just over 12 hours ago. So have a little chat about that, what that kind of means, what the energetics are of this time, you know, Virgo new moon in general, and also like this specific Virgo new moon, because there's other stuff going on, obviously, as there always is with the astrology, because all the other planets and stuff are kind of having an impact on that particular moon. I won't go on about that for ages. It's not gonna be like heavy astrology or anything like that, but just kind of about the general energetics of the time, of this time. So we'll do a little bit of that, and then we're going to kind of have sort of like just a little mini ritual, I guess. We're gonna have a little bit of just kind of tuning in, and I actually pulled out Everyday Witch. I was watching a video by Heather Tarot earlier on, and she was using this deck, and I was like, yes, I haven't used that one for a little while, so, and I love it, so I thought this would be a good one for this live. So I feel like it's kind of Virgo energy as well. It's quite a lot of like healthy, earthy looking people in this deck. So yeah, I'll do some readings, and we'll do individual readings hopefully for people who are here. So sorry, I'm banging my desk on my chair, so it's probably all shaking around like a mad thing. So I'm still not happy with the whole with the whole setup, but we're just gonna have to go with it now, so that's fine. So Virgo new moon. So Virgo is mutable earth. Like mutable earth is mutable, means like changeable, and obviously earth is the earth element sign. So mutable earth in theory is like the most changeable of the earth signs, but as it is earth, that's not really that changeable, is it? And sometimes Virgos can get a little bit of a, if you've got a lot of Virgo in your chart, you know, if you're like a Sun Virgo, Virgo rising. Sorry, my daughter's getting ready for bed and it's above my head, so it might be a bit creaky. So Virgos can have a little bit of a reputation for being like a little bit anal, a little bit like overly pedantic sometimes, and like wanting to kind of you know, really get their systems organized and their habits and everything kind of in place, and they can get a bit of a hard time for it. But I think that is because like we tend to value those more kind of zingy, spontaneous kind of values in people rather than that more practical Virgo energy. So yeah, Giselle, so it's just one of the things people are like, oh yeah, Virgo. But also like the fun thing about Virgo season, like we call it Virgo season now because the sun and the moon are in Virgo. And Virgo season is technically usually like the season when the sun is in Virgo, so from like around the 21st of August until the equinox. So yeah, Emma, so you get a bit particular sometimes. And like obviously, like people say, oh well, I don't have this in my chart, but like everyone has got Virgo in their chart because everyone has all of the signs in their chart. You know, you might not have like a particular emphasis in there because there may not be a planet or anything in there. So wow, sun moon is rising and with Mercury there, that's a lot. Oh hey Heather, I was just saying that you inspired me to use Everyday Witch for the readings that we're going to do today. So yeah, I got that there. So yeah, so like Tanya's saying, she's got Virgo in the 4th house, no planets. So like that might seem like Virgo's not very prominent in your chart, but with it being in the 4th house, which is the house of kind of like roots, that means that like you will probably feel more at home and more kind of grounded when you have like supportive routines. Okay, so you know, basically what I'm saying is that we all have that Virgo energy. Some of us are much more like strong with it, others of us are like less happy with it depending on where it does sit in our charts, but we all have that Virgo energy. And like there's no accident that this time of year is like the kind of back to school time of year where it's you know, everyone's like getting their stationery sorted out, getting their timetables. Virgos love timetables. So it's that kind of just fresh start organizational activity when you kind of feel like as long as you have the right kind of system, you can conquer the world. It's definitely that kind of vibe, you know, a Virgo vibe. So when we're in the new moon in Virgo, those are the kind of things we're looking at. People tend to look at their kind of like their habits, their routines, their diet, exercise, you know, those kind of things that like underpin your work as well. Work is something that comes up a lot with Virgo because it's like where we give service to others is a very Virgo concept as well. So it's all of those things, the things that underpin our daily lives. So that is what we are in at the moment, and that is why, like, I don't know what you've been like over the last like 24 hours or so since the moon's been in Virgo, well even since the sun had been in Virgo, but I've been like super organized. I don't know, like have I got rid of it now? Yeah, I had a little checklist today of all the things that I needed to get done, and I've been like ticking them off. Which is like super, like a to-do list is super Virgo. So yeah, that's really really good. Oh, I just saw something flash up. The comments, when they come up, they like come up for me because I'm doing it on my phone and then they disappear really quickly. So I saw someone say that they got Virgo in their 5th house, which is the house of like fun, play, sex as well, you know, pleasure in general. And so like having Virgo there means they might enjoy structured play. They might also enjoy like certain routines in their sex life and stuff as well. So hi Claire. So we've all got that Virgo energy, but yes, some of us have definitely got it more strongly than others, and some of us will have a happier relationship with that Virgo energy depending on how it's showing up in our individual charts. So that is the kind of general Virgo picture. But then we've also got the like current Virgo picture. So we're in the Virgo new moon, we've got the moon and the sun are both in Virgo, but we've also got, what have I done with that? I've got the chart I wanted to show you here, which I literally just had. Ah, yes, it's here. So this is where really I should like cut to another screen, but being as I couldn't even get my screen to go sideways, we know that that is not going to happen, right? So is actually, I feel like after a lot, like there's been a lot of stuff going on astrologically, which has kind of been pulling us in lots of different directions to kind of really think about how our basically like fundamental understanding of the world has been called into question over the last couple of years. And so there's been an awful lot of stuff going on that, like we've got Uranus in Taurus at the moment, which is really like causing a lot of causing or reflecting, you know, I'm not going to get into that whole like whether astrology is like fated or whether it is like a mirror aspect of it today, but maybe that's something we can talk about another time. But it's that that energy has been full on, whereas this chart I actually feel like is a little bit of kind of respite, and it gives us the opportunity to kind of go a little bit more detail oriented, you know, Virgo, detail oriented, allow us to go a little bit more. What's Cara saying? So just, can I share the link to my chat? Oh yes, of course you can, Cara, of course. I know you're not spamming links in the chat, go for it. Yeah, it's a little bit of a light relief, I feel like, although there is like, we are having a square to Virgo, to the Virgo new moon and Sun, obviously, because they're both in the same place at the moment, from Mars in Gemini, which is adding a bit of heat to the situation, but I feel like also adding a little bit of like play and well, I love Gemini, and you know, I've got an awful lot of Gemini influence in my own chart, so I actually like that kind of more airy idea, let's do all the things kind of Gemini energy. So I feel like that, but with Mars there, I feel like it's channeling that energy into outcomes a little bit more. So I feel like that's actually quite a supportive aspect at the moment. So basically all of this to say that I feel like this new moon, this Virgo new moon, is a really kind of grounded, but also like giving us like not a kick up the backside, but like a good nudge in the right direction to get our more mundane picture of our lives in order. So I hope that all makes sense. How does that go? I can have a little sip of tea while I have a little look at what you guys are saying and see if that kind of, like, I know there's people here who know astrology, you know all this stuff already as well. So that's water, not tea. Let's get some tea. I've got a witch's brew, which is one that my sister bought for me from Glastonbury, which is just, it's really good. It's got about like 17 different herbs in it. It's really tasty. It smells amazing. Okay, so no one's saying anything. So hopefully, hopefully either you're behind, you know, what I'm saying, you're going to say some stuff soon, or that all makes sense so far of what I've shared. Yeah, so what we're looking at in this, okay, yeah. So what we're looking at for this Virgo cycle, like when we're talking about working with the energy of the moon cycles, like obviously the moon is changing. I say obviously, it might not be obvious if you don't know astrology, but the moon changes sign every couple of days, because in like a month, in around 28 days, the moon makes an entire cycle around all of the signs. So there's 12 signs. So, you know, every couple of days, the moon's changing sign. But that new moon, that point when the sun and the moon are together, is like a kind of rebirth point, like a reset button in the cycle. So we can think about these kind of themes that are coming up for this new moon and carrying it all the way to the full moon, and then really all the way back to the next new moon as well. So this energy is not just like today, this is the energy that we're going to be working with over the next little while. It does shift a little bit usually after the full moon, but it's still, the things that we're thinking about now, the themes we're working with now are going to continue. Yeah. So I could see some comments again now and they've disappeared. I can't know. I can't get it to come back, so. Oh, hey Elaine. We've just been talking about the energy of this lunar cycle, this new moon, Virgo new moon cycle, with a nice, I think, supportive square from Mars. So just giving us that little bit of fire, fizz to get things moving in the right direction. So what I want us to do now is just to take a little moment, like I don't know where you guys all are, whether you're like in the middle of doing stuff or whether you can actually like chill out a little bit while we're doing this, but just to drop in, take a few deep breaths and just feel into ourselves. Like sometimes when we're really rushing around in the day and it seems like there's so much to do, you know, it can be easy to kind of become a little bit disconnected. But like Virgo is earth, you know, we need to be in our bodies, we need to be present. And the information that our bodies are giving us at this time is really, that's where we're receiving information now, is through our bodily sensations. So just take a moment, you know, if you can, close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths. I can feel I've got quite a lot of tension going on in my shoulders. Like I've been working on the computer a lot today, and in my belly as well. So I need to work on letting that go. You might just want to sigh it all out. This feels really weird doing this like in a kind of open circle like this, but there's only, I think it says there's 35 of us here, so it's pretty cozy, you know. That's not too many people, is it? So yeah, just you do it. What do you feel? What sensation, what communication is your body like? You don't have to tell me if you don't feel comfortable, of course, but you know, like if you've got a journal handy or anything like that, you can just make a note of that, like how you're feeling at this moment in time, and how maybe that shifts as you take more deep breaths and just kind of settle in as well to your space. Elaine's lower back, she's feeling it from skating. She's just got a new pair of roller skates. You know, these 40-year-old women with their roller skates, they're gonna have sore backs. But yeah, it's not just like also the pain sensations. So like feel where there's ease as well, you know, feel where there's pleasurable sensations. You know, it's sometimes it's the kind of sore bits which call us first, you know, because like this, like fix me, you know, I'm having a feel there. But see if there's any places that feel easy as well, you know, or joyful, or, you know, sensual in a exciting way, maybe even, you know. I'm always amazed, it's like the different parts can feel so different. Like if you just kind of do a body scan, I know, and that's not for everyone, I know sometimes people who've got chronic pain and things like that, it's not helpful sometimes to do a body scan. But for, you know, for most people, if you're generally pretty healthy, you can feel Stacey's ankles feel good. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's like, okay, that feels good, that feels tight, that feels like I want to stretch, you know, like what could you do to bring more ease into your body? Okay, so I've got my notebook and pen here, and if you would like me to, I think I'm going to do 2 cards, like 2 card readings. I think that seems like a good idea. So if you would like me to do a reading for you, I'm going to try and do them as quickly and succinctly as I can, so that I can get through as many people who want them. When we used to do this, I don't think I haven't done it like this for a few years on my channel now, a couple of years. So, but it used to be really nice, but it did used to go on for a long time sometimes. So let me know if you'd like a reading. So Kyra says yes. Giselle. Liz. Oh my gosh, Emma, Heather, Elaine, Tanya. Oh, hang on, that's as far as I got. Diane. Okay, didn't get after Diane. I got Sarah, Rachel. I've missed somebody though, so could somebody shout again? Oh, Carrie, hi, I didn't know you were here. Christiana, Carrie, Claire. Okay, I'm going to say the names that I've got, but I know that I've missed some of you. So I've got Kyra, Giselle, Liz, Emma. Oh, I can't even read my writing. Oh, Heather, Elaine. My writing's so terrible. Siren says yes, please. Okay, Tanya, Diane, Sarah, Rachel, Christiana, Carrie, Claire, and Siren. So if I didn't say your name just then and you want a reading, then do tell me again, because it just went so fast. Okay, so Rachel, Feathers and Stars Tarot, Rachel AE. Rachel, Tanya. Oh, thanks Giselle. Stacey. Oh, Helen. Okay. Oh, Helen, you here? And Stacey. Lovely. Oh, and Joe. It all just literally like went, pew. I didn't think this through, did I? Okay. So I'll work through in the order that I've got on my list. And like the question for this is like, what's my focus? What's your focus? If it's your reading for this Virgo moon cycle, what am I working on? So like we've talked about the general themes, and I probably will do like a general reading. It is basically everyone. It's not actually. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I got 18. And there's like 37 people here. So although I find people do tend to say later, because sometimes people are a bit shy to say first of all. So this is for Kyra. What is Kyra focusing on in this Virgo moon cycle? Okay. Oh, okay. So this is what you have. You have Knight of Cups and you've got Death. Now, people sometimes panic when, oh, hey, Millie, just to look. That's fine. If you change your mind later, you can let me know. So sometimes people freak out when Death comes out. But this Death card in particular, I find to be very much about making decisions. Like, can you see those? Obviously, you can see those two doors in the background. And it's like choosing which path. The Death card is also like cutting through. Oh, Deborah, I'm making a note of you because I just saw you say, yeah. So the one door is like open slightly and the other door is shut. But there's also like that kind of haziness around, like almost like dry ice around the figure. And that sense of like, there's tension and the tension needs to be cut, and because it's like a knife, it's a sword, it's like a kind of mental tension, and that is how you need to break the tension by making a choice. But how lovely is that with the Knight of Cups? Yeah, I found that Death card to be like a little bit like simplistic. I think when I first got the deck, like the deck is kind of like light-ish, although I find it does read really, really well for all kinds of different readings. But I was a bit like, oh, it's just a little bit simple, but it reads accurately, I find, in readings. So, you know, I can't argue with that really. So we've got this Knight of Cups who's just like full on rainbow hearts everywhere, you know, like on a real self-love journey. It feels like a kind of self-love, self-discovery journey. And we've got Death with choice. So the energy of those cards is kind of more watery, more scorpionic kind of energy, and more Mars. I know I'm going to be talking to Kyra about that Mars energy, because she's got a Mars in Gemini. That's interesting though, isn't it? Because that's like fire in air rather than fire in water. But I feel like what is your work in this Virgo cycle is going to be, if you see in that Knight of Cups card, there's a companion dolphin underneath the broomstick as well. I feel like you are going to be on this journey of like self-love, self-discovery, with support from people who you already know and love, you know. But there is also going to be some stuff that you need to confront, that you need to make a choice in order to be able to kind of like continue your self-love journey. So it might feel like you're kind of coming up against doors, you know, you can't get any further in that journey. And so by tuning in to what needs to actually be let go of, it's going to be able to move you forward. Yeah, I think that's what those cards are saying for you. So be on the lookout for that in this cycle now, and you know, you can let me know how that pans out. Okay, so Giselle, you're up next. Give them another shuffle. And like, obviously, if you guys have got things to add with those cards as well, because I'm doing this kind of very quickly and just picking out some of the main themes. So feel free to add extras, because then that way we're all kind of offering information for the person who's having the reading. Okay, I am gonna just, seems I don't want to spend too much time shuffling either, but it's important. So for Giselle, this month, which is your birthday month, right? Okay, so we've got a 7 of Pentacles, and we've also got 8 of Wands. Interesting, look how they're both kind of like looking up. And like the energy couldn't be kind of more different in them really, when we've got 7 of Wands here as like a kind of very Virgo, you know, earthy, the process of tending, and it's like, I'm going to tend my garden, I'm going to do the jobs that need to be done, and then you can see, look, that she's harvesting this lovely fruit, and all those pentacles are there. She's got her wine, she's got her book. Like, if you follow G on Instagram, she has lots of photographs of her in her garden, and it's really, you know, this is a very G card. So the way this seems to be happening is it's almost like this is the card of like kind of what you're trying to achieve, and then, you know, who you are almost. And then the challenge for you is that I feel like it's too many things on the go. That's what those things are. Too many like things you want to do, too many projects, and it's kind of all just flying away from you a little bit. And so, yeah, patience versus full-on creativity. Yes, exactly. You see the same as what I'm seeing here. So it's like, I want to do this, 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 all these projects. And like, you can do them, but you need to just do them one at a time, or do like a little bit on them each day, or, you know, find a very Virgo finding of a way to work on all of the things, you know, because Virgo is Mercury ruled, you know, like people think of Gemini as being very mercurial, like quick, but Virgo is ruled by Mercury too, you know, that planet of intellect, that planet of speed. And so it's still brings that energy of wanting to do all the things, but Virgos just approach it in a more structured way, you know, in a more organized way. Whereas Gemini is like, oh, shiny thing. And I speak, you know, as a Gemini, so I'm saying this. Yeah. So yeah, I think that is going to be your challenge this month, G. It's going to be like trying to get a handle on, find a Virgo solution for how you're going to tackle all those creative projects. Okay, so I got Liz, Old Ways Cottage Liz. There is another Liz Francisco in here as well. So if you want a reading as well, Liz, let me know, because maybe you thought I was saying you. Because I know Old Ways Cottage is Liz too. Okay, so this is for Liz, Old Ways Cottage. Okay, I'm going to write the other Liz down now as well. Okay. So here we've got Queen of Cups, and she's a very like Zen Queen of Cups. And like, I know you live by the sea and you do a lot of sea bathing, Liz, as well. So like this, again, this first card that's coming out seems to be very much like you, who you are, very kind of like intuitive, connected with the flow of energy and everything around you. And this is your challenge. We've got Judgment. So and I always think, when I see this card, I always think of the Pied Piper for some reason. It's like, you know that story, yeah, the Pied Piper, where the piper plays to get rid of the rats, and the piper can pipe and all the rats follow him, and everyone in the town is like, oh, we'll pay you loads, you know, if you can get rid of these rats. And then he plays and he gets rid of the rats, they all follow him, and they don't pay him. They're like, oh great, the rats are gone now, so we're not going to do anything about it. And then so he comes back and he plays a different tune, and this time the tune attracts the children. and all of the children in the town follow him, and like in some versions of the story he pipes them into the sea like he does with the rats, and in some, which is interesting given this card too, and in some of the versions of the story he does like just keep them, and then he gives them back once they do pay him what they owe, you know. And that is what judgment is sometimes about. It's about like paying what you owe. And I wonder if there is stuff that is like that you're supposed to be doing that you are kind of like putting off. Yeah, no, don't steal any children. That is not what I want you to take from this story. Don't steal children and pipe them off the edge of a cliff. That is definitely not at all. I think what you need to do is, I suspect there's some stuff like, look how she's like also like looking away. It's almost as if you're trying to kind of like ignore, like literally la 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 la, you know. There's certain things probably linked back to this as well, you know, perhaps to do with emotional stuff, like emotional baggage, feelings that are very like that have been held for a really long time, that is you've been ignoring, and in this cycle now you're going to need to face that. So that's not fun necessarily. But you know, she is playing music and her cat companion is chasing a butterfly, so there's definitely that kind of air energy. So perhaps you can use that air energy, that kind of intellectual energy, to help you to like maybe some kind of talk therapy, something like that, to move things on. So I hope that makes sense. It's tricky, isn't it, when you're reading when there's lots of other people here as well. So yeah, Giselle says judgment's finding the higher path, definitely, and perhaps there'll be an element of that as well, like if there's people in the past that oh, okay, yeah, there's okay, yeah, that's what it's to do with. Definitely to do with like childhood experiences, let's say. Okay, and I think probably like there's a reason why that Pied Piper story came up as well. So like how you're doing things very differently with your children than you experienced as a child yourself. Okay, so Emma, this is for you. We got another knight. We've got, yeah, Cairo, it really is, isn't it? I film on my phone for like lives, and well, I film on my phone always. I use my phone for everything to do with YouTube, but because the camera is so much better on my laptop camera is terrible. So okay, we've got the Knight of Pentacles this time, so another earthy character here, very focused on that. You know, I always think of this one as kind of like being eyes on the prize, like you've been working hard on a particular goal and you're very focused on that goal, and, you know, very well considered, very well resourced. You know, you've got all the tools and things you need to get to the outcome that you want. And then we've got a slight little spanner in the works, maybe. Let's call it a curveball. Let's go with curveball, okay? We've got 7 of Swords, and it's a little bit of like a oh, so this is you now, Emma, like you're on your mission and you're really focused. I think this month is going to maybe be some setbacks, unfortunately, and some opportunities too to change your thinking around certain things. You might get some information about somebody in your life. Yeah, it is like that. It's like the goal, I've got the snitch. Yeah, I think Emily, you're gonna receive some information about somebody that you know, and you'll have to bring that into your plan, into your grand plan. And perhaps you're relying on somebody for something, and they're gonna, like, I don't think it's super serious. Like, we're only talking minors here, aren't we? So it's not like Liz is soul searching. But it is having to rethink things, and it may be a little bit uncomfortable as well, so that's something to watch out for. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So Heather, you are up next. I'm gonna have to riffle these again. Oh, I didn't see Emma's comment, so hopefully that did make sense. I was too busy shuffling. And yeah, like I said, do chime in with other stuff as well. Because sometimes I can be a little bit like, I don't tend to like rose coat things when I do readings, and so apologies in advance for that. Yeah. Especially I think when you're doing it quickly. Heather. Okay, so you've got Ace of Pentacles here. And then you've got Five of Pentacles. So you have got two earthy cards, two earthy energy cards. That Ace, you know, being very much like, ta-da as well, you know, it's like, wow, I've just found this. I always think it's as if she's been like, just searching through this field, just kind of enjoying being there, and then like, aha, you know, it's this is what I want to do. This is who I am. This is like my purpose. I feel like it's saying to you that you have come to this place now where you know who you are, and you feel like you have like uncovered, you've picked it out of the long grass. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I'm here for. And I think I'm going to go like super literal, and be like, the thing that you want to do is actually probably not super lucrative in the short term. So it's, but that's not to say not to pursue it, obviously, you know. And like, I always feel like in this card, like that's what people always say, don't they, about this Five of Pentacles, is like, if you look at it in a slightly different way, they've got the options to like come out of the cold and to go into the warm, you know. There's plenty there. So perhaps also is a little bit of a message to not kind of isolate yourself with your new path, with your venture that you are on at the moment, you know. Is exciting. And sometimes when you start telling people your stuff as well, it can kind of take the shine off the shiny thing that you found, having to like explain the practical details to people. But I think maybe you do need to do that to actually get the kind of practical support, even if that is just in terms of like emotional support, moral support, social support somehow, you know, like that they understand what you're trying to do and why it's so important to you, so that you're not like left out in the cold. Yeah. Yeah. But again, you know, we're talking minors, not huge life altering things, you know. Easy for me to say, they're not my cards. Okay, Elaine, you are up next. And like with always with readings, it's guidance, isn't it? So knowing it is not changing the outcome. It's just giving us a little bit more background knowledge, so we're not kind of unprepared. That's how I see it anyway. Like I always think I always feel like, for me personally, I always feel like I'd rather know. And then I can adjust accordingly. Like that's kind of like one of the main points of divination for me. And obviously it is only my interpretation as well. I could be wrong. Okay, so Elaine, you have got Six of Wands, which is all very wonderful, hooray, and very positive. I love this Six of Wands because it's so female centric, and like I feel like she's achieved the, like, it's so apt for you, because it's like she's got to that place of celebration and being able to be in a position to offer wisdom. And like I always see that rose, you know, obviously it can, sometimes you can see it as like monetary support and stuff as well, but I feel like it's like wisdom, like goddess wisdom, because this rose is offering to other people around her, and like maybe those are other people, specific other people in your life, like you're in a position to be able to do that, and everyone's kind of like, you're very out as a witch, and people are grateful for that. So that is kind of like you, who you are. Those streamers are there, super celebratory. And then we've got Four of Swords. So definitely like it's almost like kind of outer and then inner, like outer and inner life. So I think like from an outer perspective, this is where you are and that's how people see you, but perhaps some like you need some time as well to, like sometimes when that card comes out, it's literal rest that is needed, you know, like you need to have a rest. Can you see the cobwebs and stuff that are around her? It's like she's been there for a long time. And like we also need like privacy, and that's something that we don't always get when we are kind of like in amongst like a large family grouping like that. So family and friends and things like that. So yeah, sleepy mama is tired, exactly, you know. And I think like often as well when this card comes out, I see it as like an indicator that a person might need to start like a kind of an actual like a meditation practice perhaps, or like definitely some sort of like quiet time practice. Okay, yeah, Four of Swords in your reading lately, yeah. Mental process, you do, because like that's how like we operate on that system. Like we've talked about this with the moon energy, isn't it? It's like it is seasonal, it's cyclical. It's not like we can't be this all the time. That is not possible. Like nature shows us that, like we don't have summer all year, and then we also need winter, we also need the dark, you know, we need that time to kind of balance that out. And like the imagery of those cards is so like balancing. Yeah. Okay, so I hope that's useful, Elaine. And like Elaine is an excellent tarot reader herself, so you should follow her Instagram. She has lots of insightful posts on there. Flicking cards out. So this next reading is going to be for Tanya. I'm just going to shuffle again. Ooh. Just looking at the time. So it's 43. So I'm not doing too bad actually, aren't I? I am getting through. So for Tanya. Wow. Okay. So Tanya, we got two majors here. We've got the Chariot. And this is a weird Chariot card for me. Like I like it, but often I find like normally in a lot of decks, the Chariot is very much like about that whole kind of like exercise of will. Like you've got everything's kind of like perfectly poised and you're kind of driving things forward. Whereas in this Chariot card, I always feel like she looks lost, doesn't she? She looks like she's kind of like not sure which way to go. Like, do I go this way? Do I go that way? And that really changes things. And so, like, I feel like this, for you, this card is like you're at a real major crossroads in your life right now. And you literally could go either way. You know, you can choose. You have that. it is still the Chariot. You still have the choice. You can choose. Like, you may not feel like you know which way to go, but the choice, you are riding that motorcycle, you know, you are capable and resourced to drive things forward. So that is where you are at this kind of crossroads, literal crossroads. Also a very magical liminal space, the crossroads. So, you know, in a witch's journey, and she is a witch, magic happens at the crossroads. And then you have the Empress. So what seems to be happening with the readings is like the first card seems to be the kind of like where you are now card, and then the second card is like the kind of almost like the challenge. And so I wonder what the Empress is as a challenge. Like, is it that you are still being called on to be the Empress? You know, perhaps in your life you have dependents, you may have, like, you know, there's dogs, there's cats, she's pregnant, you know. There's a lot of people who are like relying on you, and who you feel like you owe them to, you know, it is your job to nurture them. You know, it's so abundant, this card. It's really like rich. But as a challenge card, perhaps it's saying like that perhaps it is time to choose a different path. Or yeah, or like Elaine said, perhaps you're pregnant. But I don't feel like that is the case. I feel like it's metaphorical here. It's so funny, isn't it? It's like I'm saying this, I feel like this, like that's how it is with reading the cards, isn't it? It's like sometimes it's like it means this. Like sometimes I'll pull this card and be like, oh yeah, they're pregnant. And then other times it's like, no, I don't think so. But you know, you can correct us if we're wrong. But yeah, if you can be this if you want to. You already are this, you know, you have all this, but you can also choose a different path because you're in that crossroads time at this moment. And like, you know, with there's two majors here, so it is kind of like this is a big deal. So yeah, let's say pull the Empress. Yeah, and like not all Empresses are pregnant, are they? So that doesn't always come up, but then sometimes you pull it and it is the case. So yeah, I figured that you meant the person, not the card. But yeah, okay, so I hope that makes sense for you, Tanya. I have Diane up next. I'm gonna just put these back in. I've got a candle burning in the background. It smells so lovely now. It started to melt down. I lit it just before we started. It's lovely. It's I never know how to say it. It's like oud. You know, O-U-D is the main ingredient of it, and it's just, I love it. It's also got rose as well. Okay, so for Diane, okay. Okay, that's interesting. If the Empress is stalking you at the moment, the way that it came out here is that it's I feel like it's more like that you are in a phase where you maybe are moving on from that like mother phase in life. Okay, Diane, you've also got a major here, and you have the Emperor. So like Emperor, like technically it links with Aries, but I also see a lot of like Virgo in this specific card as well, with it being like very, very well planned, very well thought out, and like not in a rushed way, in a kind of experienced, and like I know the best way to proceed with these problems. You're like, most likely you're the sort of person that people will come to and they'll be like, she'll know what to do, you know. It's that that kind of energy. And like I love this Emperor's also like got those antlers, and it's sometimes the Emperor card can be a little bit like like I suppose he is a little bit military, like he is wearing armor, but he also seems like connected with the earth as well. So not like a kind of just destructive energy. Do you see what I mean? It's like it is very much more like considered and yeah, I know. Yeah, but they are really good cards, and I think people sometimes overlook this deck because it seems like it's a bit light, and I just don't find it like that. Like look at the companion, look at the Alsatian that's there. It's the same. It's like power in reserve, you know. I could do all sorts of things, but I am like here. I'm considered and I've got everything kind of worked out. So and then we've got the Queen of Wands, and I love this card. Like what a glorious Queen of Wands with like the dragon. Like who is the queen? Is it the woman or is it the dragon? Or both? And for you, I feel like what it's saying is that you've got an opportunity in this moon cycle to, like, you know, you're always going to be that Emperor. You're always going to be the person that people can rely on and like are amazing in a crisis and things like that. But you have an opportunity in this cycle now to kind of like get a little bit wild and creative, and like we were talking in circle about dragon energy being also goddess energy, and perhaps there is goddess reaching out for you at the moment, to you at the moment. I feel like that, and like you've got the chance to kind of like heed that call and just like relax into it. Like she doesn't, like sometimes Queens of Wands, is that how you'd say it? Queen of Wands, Queens of Wands in the plural, I don't know. She doesn't look like there's any sort of effort. It looks really effortless. It's almost like a surrender. So, you know, that's kind of a common factor to both those cards, is they both look kind of effortless. It's like you've got so much more left in reserve, but this one is definitely like, look at the colors. There's so much more like zinginess on this card. Okay, so she looks like she's lacking energy. Yeah, I suppose maybe to me it's almost like she is like you know, just kind of going with the flow more and being instead of like forcing things to happen in a kind of will-driven way like the Emperor can, she's allowing creativity to just kind of like happen around her, I guess, without having to like control the outcome. But yeah, I can totally see what you're saying about her lacking in energy potentially. It's interesting. It's an interesting card, I think, in this deck. I haven't read the guidebook for this deck for ages, since I first got it, so it'd be interesting to see. And like if you guys do have this deck, you can look up what it says in the guidebook as well, because I'm sure that will add another whole level of neons to the reading as well. So yeah, I think, Diane, you can kind of almost let yourself go this cycle and see who is calling you. I feel like there's someone trying to get your attention, some sort of deity spirit trying to get your attention. Yeah. Yeah, I think it does. It makes sense, Kelly, I think, in that way. It's like Queen of Wands, but not in like a... She's still fire, but she's like effortless fire. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, Carrie, yeah. We think of them as elemental expressions. The queens are water element. Okay, Emma, yeah. You've got 7 of Swords. It'd be worth, I think, having a little read around as well. Like, I don't know who you're interacting with at the moment. Probably like from in a work situation. you know, just check out everyone's motives. Yeah, I hope that makes sense for you, Diane. Sarah, you're up next. Ooh, okay, you have two majors. You've got our Pied Piper Judgment, yeah, and then Wheel of Fortune. Wow, and like this, she just looks like it's like a game show, isn't it? I always think this card is like, there could be all sorts of outcomes, and it's actually pointing at a house, interestingly here. So I don't know how things are with your house at the moment, and whether there's any potential like moves or like home improvements, changes that are on the cards potentially. And like Judgment here is, like we talked about it in the sense of like a card that's like a kind of challenge card, but for you here it's more like your card, and like we can see it in that sense then of her like kind of skipping and playing the tune and kind of being in that moment of like of almost like surrender. Like sometimes in the Rider Waite, when we think of the Judgment card, and like it would be good probably to look at quite a few, and I know Sarah, you read as well, so you've got a few options of Judgment cards to look at. There's definitely like an element of surrender. So like I wonder if like you've been kind of going with the flow of things, and actually the wheel, which normally tells us to go with the flow, is saying choose. I feel like it's almost like turned on its head. Does that make sense? You know, and like look at the numbers. We've got 20, 10. I think that's really interesting, like that they can mean such different things in that moment. And so yeah, I feel like you've almost been like la la going along, you know, making decisions as they come with the information you've got, and kind of just almost like surrendering. That's what I was going to say. Like in the Rider Waite, the Judgment card is sometimes like that kind of call to surrender, and to like come out of the grave and live that kind of eternal life. So it's kind of like going along with the flow of things. And then like often the Wheel of Fortune is, like I said, is like you've got to kind of roll with things, but I feel like here it's more like, no, you have to stop the wheel and choose something. So it's kind of more of an indicator that you need to, in this moon cycle now, to be thinking about like where you are, what you want, and what changes you might want to make, and be more like, what do I actually want, rather than kind of going with the flow, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so next card is for Rachel, or card. Oh, hey, it's Queen Osset here. That is very cool. I just saw somebody say hey. Oh, you're welcome, Liz. It's lovely to see you. Well, see your messages and be with you in circle like this. So, Rachel, I'm going to give these a riffle. Okay. Oh, hey, Helen. Okay, so, okay, Rachel, so you have got 9 of Pentacles, another lovely kind of like lush, earthy card of like just enjoying all the lovely things of life. Are you welcome, Sarah? That's completely fine. Yeah, and like let me know what what that's all about. So yeah, this card is like look, she's got a wine, she's got a book, the tree behind her is like full of fruit, full of pentacles. She's really like richly dressed and adorned, you know, and like relaxing on that gorgeous chaise longue or like sort of armchair that she's got there. This is a card that was actually like a stalker card for me for a while, and you know, a lovely stalker card to have, like a lot better than some of the other cards you might have as stalker cards. but also like sometimes this card is like a bit complacent. So like, it's lovely, you're appreciating everything, you're enjoying things, you're enjoying where you are in your life at the moment. You know, you're reading things. You told me earlier you were doing that as well, and thinking things over, and like, you're super well resourced, you've got everything you could possibly need. But it's very stationary. Yeah, it's very like sedentary, I suppose. You know, it's like there's not really like a motivation, like a spark to move from there. Like, why would you move from there? Because it looks just delightful. So what you've got coming up for you is Temperance, card 14, and also card of the spring equinox. So really interesting, because this is the card that like it comes up at the end of this current moon cycle. Well, and the sun cycle. It's when the sun moves from Virgo season into Libra. So we've got Temperance, that kind of card of balance. And I know I'm going to say it again, I love this card. I love this Temperance card where she's like winking as well. You know, I think in theory it's supposed to be like one eye open, one eye closed, because it's that kind of like balance. And it's what we were talking about earlier as well over in the comments on the video. It's like over here she's got like all this like kind of healthy stuff, and then over here she's got cake. And I like her iPad or a laptop and stuff like that, whereas the other side's like green juice and carrots and things like that. And it's like finding that balance between indulging and like kind of almost like luxuriating, and getting like, she's not like super active obviously because she's not technically moving. She is planted, she is a tree, but she is, you know, she's in tree pose. But like, I've gone back to yoga recently, and like I know that actually holding that pose is a lot more difficult than it looks. Like, it's supposed to kind of look effortless, isn't it? But actually there's an awful lot of effort going into that. And so I feel like this month, this cycle for you is about moving from true effortlessness, like enjoying what is there, to like, it might not seem to other people that you are actually like doing a lot different. You know, you've gone from being under the trees to your tree pose, but you're actually starting to put a lot more effort in, like, and you are kind of keeping balance with it. You're making sure that you do treat yourself, you're making sure that you do have balance in all the ways that Virgo's like, you know. But it brings definitely a more dynamic element to it. Does that make sense? So I feel like that's what it's saying to you, is like, start putting what you've got into practice, which is exactly what we were already talking about basically in the comments before. So yeah, so I hope that makes sense. Oh, hey Renee. Oh my gosh. It's nice to see people here. Okay, so Christina, or was it Christiana? I really can't read my own writing. I think Christiana. Are you still here, Christiana? Oh, good, Rachel. I'm glad that that makes sense. And like, there's obviously so much more as well. Like, we can literally talk for ages about these cards, but I'm really conscious as well that we are, I don't want to be here for like 9 hours, and neither do you guys. You have all the things to do. Okay. So for Christiana, okay, so we've got the Tower, and like, as it's coming out as like the card for where you are now, and she looks, I always think she looks very like pleased with herself, very kind of like smug in this deck for the Tower. You know, it's like, yeah, I did that. I wanted that to happen. So it's like somebody who has got to that stage in their life where they're like, they just don't give the F's anymore, and they're like, if something's not working for me, then I'm just gonna tear that shit down. You know, I'm not gonna take any crap like that anymore, or like, I'm not gonna respect certain ways of being because they're actually not respectful of like me and my purpose in life. So that's a pretty like badass Tower card, and like quite different from how traditionally you can read the Tower card. And then we have the Knight of Swords. And so I feel like this month your challenge, your kind of like work with this month is going to be actually like defending your beliefs, defending your like why you did this. Why did you do this? Like you did it because you knew it was the right thing to do. Yeah, Renee, respect should run both ways. Exactly. You know, it's not like we shouldn't just respect because it's a tower, because that's the way we've always done things, you know. So and then, but people are going to be like, well, why did you do that? And why, you know, what's, you know, and you're going to have to this month kind of like cut through that and be much more like you can choose whether you explain or not, or whether you just take the sword out on them, but which is what you might want to do. But you can also like you've got the feathers there as well, which like often I see as like ancestors as well, like the power of like you're on the right side of this, and so you kind of, but you have to kind of defend yourself in over this period now, in your beliefs basically, in why you think the way you do. Yeah, so that can be kind of annoying, but you know, like you've definitely you've got this. He doesn't look too concerned about things, and has, like I say, he's got a lot of backup there. Okay, so that's Christiana, right? Carrie. Are you guys all getting your everyday witches out? I use this deck, like I do use it quite a lot, so, and like it's super reasonable because it is mass market. Like I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I think like around £17. So like if you were thinking of getting it, then I would definitely recommend it. Mine is, I should probably get a new one. Like Heather was saying this about hers as well. It's like they do get a little bit battered because they are those thinner Llewellyn cards, but I do like that showing up everywhere. It's funny how decks do that, isn't it? It's like you don't see them and then it seems like everyone's using them. Okay, so this is for Carrie. Oh, beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, Carrie, 2 majors. You've got the Star. So you're in this gorgeous place of healing, of balance. Like I always feel like in this deck, this Star card is almost like it's temperancy, you know, with the kind of flow from both directions, like connected with source, connected with earth. It's got that gorgeous like healing from the inside out, healing from above, from below, you know. It's just, it's a beautiful, beautiful just lovely card. So yeah, you're in that kind of space of healing. It's kind of private because she's got her eyes closed. And then what is going to be the challenge to this? What is going to be something that you need to do, the work for this month? And that is the Fool. So you kind of need to throw yourself off a cliff, you know, you need to take a risk. And, you know, why would you, when you really kind of like all that energy is like focused inward on your healing journey, and then it's like much more uncomfortable to step into the unknown. But that is what you need to do in order to like to grow and probably to continue with the journey that you're on. Yeah, so look out for opportunities this month where you can do something that is like a little bit scary, or something that you would say no to normally, and say yes. Okay, Carrie. So Claire, you are up next. Let's have a look what is coming up for you. And I've got Siren, and I've got Feathers and Stars Tarot Rachel after that. Guys, just jump. Yeah, Yeah, I know. And I feel like I say this to you all the time, Carrie, when I read for you. So sorry about that. Once you've done it, then I probably won't have to say it anymore, hey? Okay. Again, easy for me to say. That's one of the things I kind of like about tarot as well. It's like you know, telling people what to do. But it's like, it's not me, it's the cards. You're all tarot readers, you know. Okay, Claire, what is coming up for you? Oh my gosh. I'm literally throwing a card on the floor. It's face down, so I'm not going to grab it. Oh, hey, Clary. Okay. Oh, okay, so we had quite a few court cards. So we got Page of Wands. So this is where you are at the moment, Claire. You are like, I always think this, of this page is like, it's got like a kind of the salamander in the path, a kind of fiery salamander, which almost seems to me to be like saying, he looks like he's thinking, I should go back. Like it would be easier and kind of safer if I turn around and go back. Do you see what I mean? But that little fiery salamander is like there in the path saying, no, you don't. Your growth is the other way. Whereas the cat in this one, I always think seems to be almost saying, come on, come back. And so sometimes when this card comes out, it's almost like you're kind of being pulled in two directions. So it's like, there's the safe path, and then there's also the, yeah, Elaine, that's completely fine. There's not super lows left anyway now. I think there's only like sort of 6 left. So I think we're good. And then I'll do like a general reading for us all as well anyway. So yeah, being pulled in two directions. One of them is going to be like the more scary one is probably the one that will be good for your creative growth. Whereas the safest one will probably keep you safe, but maybe not, you know, growing. And, you know, as if to emphasize this, like, it's not strictly speaking a crossroad, because it just looks like a wazy, like a kind of windy path. But then, you know, to just kind of put it so we can't be in any doubt, it's showing us the crossroads of with this chariot. So it's like, you're at a crossroads and you need to choose which way you're going to go. Are you going to choose the path back home, or are you going to choose the path that you have not traveled yet? And like, I would suggest to try that new path. So look out for that. Similar in some ways to Carrie's as well, you know, it's like sometimes we have to push ourselves to do the scary thing, because that is what is actually going to help us to grow. Yeah. Okay, Siren, these are your cards. Well, they're not yet, because I haven't drawn them yet. Yeah, Elaine, you can put those like 4 swords out. Sleep under those 4 swords. The scary path. Yeah, exactly. Choose the scary path. Okay, Siren. Okay, so we've got 2 swords cards here for you. We have the 3 of Swords, which often can be like a sort of heartbreak, but in this deck I see it as being like whoever is in this story here is like not there. I sometimes wonder if they are the bird out of the window. It's almost as if like they were there writing in their journal, stabbing the heart in like, oh, I'm never gonna fall in love again, and then being like, oh, actually I don't have to like stick around here, I can do something else. So it's like you're at a place where you've kind of realized that you were stuck in like a paradigm of believing things were a certain way, and now you've like, oh, actually they don't have to be. And that like opens things up quite a lot. But your other card is the Nine of Swords, which shows her back in her bed. Oh, you're welcome, Emma. Thanks for hanging out. She's back there, and I think the bird is here too. Yeah, look, the bird is there on the windowsill. And so it's like you couldn't just like fly away. You couldn't have such an easy way out. There's more work that needs to be done. But I love that in this card, there's this gorgeous sunrise happening, and like the journals are back open on the bed. It's like you want there to be an easy option, an easy way to get out of the situation that you feel trapped in. But unfortunately, there's not an easy option. There are definitely ways out. Like if you look at all those swords pointing at the window, pointing at the sunrise, there's still a hole. Whereas like the out of the window in this one doesn't look very appealing to me. There's a lot of opportunity for release, for freedom from this situation, but it's not going to be like a quick fix. So if there's anything that's like promising that, that is unlikely to actually be helpful to you, and will just kind of leave you feeling more stuck. So you need to be looking at longer, more sustainable, and like more realistic kind of, but like also just not quick fixes, not like hacks or anything like that. It's like a much longer term way. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense for you, Siren. Okay, so I have Rachel Feathers and Stars Tarot now. I'm going to give them a shuffle. And then I've got Helen, Stacey, Jo, Deborah and Liz left on my list. So are you guys all still here? Let's check that first. But I suppose even if you're not, I can still do them because you can catch them on the replay then, potentially. Okay. Rachel. I know this is getting long. Oh, Deborah and Liz are still here. Thank you for being so patient. I know it's taken a while. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is a nice progression here. We've got the Ace of Pentacles, that lovely card that Heather had as well, as being like a new future, something exciting, something really tangible as well. Oh, good night, Giselle. Sleep well. I'm going to be going straight to bed after this as well. It's quite late for me here in the UK now. It's 20 past 11. So yeah, you've got this like gorgeous sunny, this new thing that is coming in for you. I feel like health related for you actually, like perhaps a new exercise program, or a new that's making it too simple, a new like life, what am I trying to say, like what do people do when they don't do diets? It's like, I'm not doing a diet, I'm doing like a lifestyle change, that's what I'm trying to get at. I feel like I know the path now. I found a path which suits me, which is going to be really good for me in like a healthy way, to going into that whole kind of like Virgo energy. Oh, hi Stacey, I didn't realize you were in the New Forest. So yeah, not too far from me. Well, and not too far from Giselle either, because she's in that neck of the woods too. And then your other card is the Two of Pentacles. So it's like one, and then I do my gorgeous magician, because like this is like the mini magician card in the deck with that infinity symbol. And it's like multiplying, literally doubling the this. So I feel like that's a really good progression sign. You've gone from taking this idea, and in this cycle you are going to bring that into, you're manifesting that in a more, doubling it, literally like 100% manifesting it. So you're working hard on it. The only thing to watch out for is like, she is on this like what they call seesaw. And you can see the cat's just about to jump in. So you might find that the other people will try and, like, maybe not even deliberately, like the cat's not like thinking I'm gonna make her fall, but it's just like, this looks like fun, I'm gonna jump on here. So you might find that people are going to like accidentally kind of pull you off course. So if you just stay in that zone of being really focused, like look how she is like so focused from this one, focused on that pentacle, focused on what she wants, focused. Yeah. That's what you need to do this month. You need to kind of really keep your eyes on that, on what it is, what's important to you and why it's important to you. Yeah. Okay, so I got Helen up next. This is for Helen. And then Stacey is after that. I wonder how much time I've spent shuffling in the entire video. Okay, so where you are at the moment, Helen, is in this Eight of Swords. So like the Eight of Swords is famous for being like a self-imposed prison, because like usually it's a very easy task to get out of this situation. So it's like you feel like you're kind of stuck and bound and that things have to be a certain way, but actually and like your power lies outside of the circle, with your hat and your wand and your besom like being outside of the circle. But it would be easy, you know, there's knives all around you. You can easily cut through those wrist ties and take that blindfold off, you know, and just literally just walk out. So there's definitely a feeling of being kind of like having to stay in a situation which, or the way she's blindfolded, I feel like it's like seeing things. It's like you're not seeing the full picture. You're not seeing that there's so much more out there for you than you actually think there is. And so there's a real opportunity this month to take that blindfold off and like be like, there's all this that I didn't realize was there. And your second card is that High Priestess. And so the challenge for you is to lean into that High Priestess divinatory energy. So to embrace the witchiness of yourself and to trust that you are connected with like a power greater than yourself, which I know when there's trauma from like childhood, forced kind of childhood religious dogma and stuff, sometimes that can be really difficult, but that's the path, that's your challenge, is to kind of find your own connection with the divine. And like I love in this High Priestess card, I sometimes see it as it being like she's read all the books, but for you in this card I'm actually seeing is like put the books behind you, don't look at the books, focus on your like visceral, what you're seeing in front of you, or actual like physical experiences. So that's something to look out for in this month. Yeah. Again, like she's got her eyes closed or is looking down, but she's not blindfolded now. It's like you've gone from being like blindfolded in the real world to being able to see in the spirit world. And that is the path for you in this month, which is pretty mind-blowing. Okay, Stacey. Let's do your reading. Oh, it's Millie's toddler. You've got your toddler for company. That's always fun. Yeah, I remember those days. My children, well, my youngest is going to be 9 next week, so oh, that's good, Rachel. I'm glad that makes sense. Ooh. throwing cards again. I always say this, I feel like I should be a much better shuffler than I am, considering like I shuffle a lot. I think I'm just quick. I'm also a terrible pourer. I'm like laughed at in my family for not being able to pour very well. Okay, so you've got Two of Wands, that's Stacey. So it's like that kind of like in this card, it's always like, for me, it's like that person who's like, oh, I wish I could travel, I wish I could see the world, and they're looking at this like tiny little version of the world in their hand, and it's like so much bigger than that, than like you're realizing at the moment. So it's like, I really want to travel the world, but the world is just so much more vast than you realize, and the opportunity then, you know, is so much bigger than you realize. And it's almost like that kind of wistful, if only kind of feeling in this card. It's like, I want to do this, but I'm not actually like actively going to do this. And look, you've got the Tower, and look how this card is in the Tower, standing in the top of that tower, and then the Tower comes down. And so this month, your challenge is going to be to break down that kind of, it feels like almost like a self-imposed restraint. Like you've got to, oh yeah, Cara, go and enjoy your kiddo's birthday, for sure. Yeah, you're almost like in a self-imposed, like, you're like, oh, I can't do this because of this. You've got a lot of like responsibility, it feels like, on you. And in this month now, you need to find ways to get your needs met, basically. I pulled the rune of the circle in our circle, and in this is about like our work that we're doing in circle over on the Facebook circle is about like finding our own selves as well in the circle and getting our needs met. And I feel like that's what it is for you. It's like you are also entitled to have what you want. So it's, I can do that, Clara, yeah, of course. You don't have to be so held back. There are chances for you to do it. So look for those this month. Like, you might not want to be like mega destructive about it. Like, there may be ways, like compromising ways that you can use, but find a way to do it, because resentment can build otherwise and frustration can build otherwise. So yeah, find that. Does that make sense? Look for those opportunities, and they may only be small for now, you know, like visit your small world. It might just be like having half an hour to do something creative, you know, but you need that, you really need it. Okay, Joe, you are up next. That's how a card come out 3 times now? I feel like it has. That's quite a lot of Tower energy for this cycle. I haven't done this many readings back to back for quite a long time, so this is fun, doing them kind of like micro readings. You kind of get in the zone of it. Okay, what is coming up for Joe in this cycle? Okay, so we've got the Ace of Wands. So it's like you're just like bursting with all this like powerful energy of just like, there's all this stuff that I'm going to do, and I'm going to like learn this, and I'm going to study this, and I'm really going to like it's all just coming out of the fire. It's like just these opportunities and stuff are all kind of like there. But then we have 10 of Wands, like taking on too much, you know, we're sticking with our wands. It's the opposite ends of the numbers. And so it's like, I've taken on too much. I don't want to actually have to carry all of these things through. Yeah, sorry, Joe. to completion. And like, look how small and kind of like manageable they look here, whereas like here they're the massive, massive heavy brooms, you know. And like, you're managing it, you could do it, but it'd be much more fun not to. So I think this month your challenge is going to be to like just choose to do less. Still definitely fuel your creativity and like do the things that really light you up and make you feel excited, but not to the extent that you're probably gonna have to say no to things, which is going to be not fun, because you're gonna be like, I want to say yes to all the things. But if you do, you're just going to end up feeling like really overstretched and overwhelmed. So easier to say no in the first place if you can bring yourself to do that, or you're just going to have to lug those brooms up the mountain. Yeah, sorry, Joe. Okay, Deborah. I know you guys were waiting patiently because you were saying, yeah, just say no. And it's going to be no to some things you want to do as well. So not like just say no to the things you don't want to do, which, like, you know, we should all be doing that more anyway. But saying no to things you do want to do, you just haven't actually got enough, just not enough hours in the day to do that all. Okay. So this is going to be for Deborah. Okay, Deborah, you have got the moon, which is where you are, like really kind of looking in. I love this moon, how the cat is looking into the water and is this huge like panther, and it's like that is who I am on the inside, and it's like who we are in our like subconscious, in the unconscious, is like so much more like bigger and wilder than we are on the outside. And like we've got this witch like literally riding on a broomstick in the background. So I feel like you've come to a place of like realizing that the you that everyone kind of knows and sees on a day-to-day basis is like the kind of safe and like tame you, whereas you're actually like much wilder. There's much more to you. There's like a lot more depth than people get to see. Probably even people who are close to you would maybe be surprised to find that in you. And perhaps even like I feel like you were also a little bit surprised to find that in yourself. And your work this month is the star. So like healing, literally, like, you know, if you could pick a keyword for the star card, it would be healing, like a healing journey. And like your journey is to like balance those two. They're both true. This is the truth of you and this is the truth of you, and it's not like one is more real than the other. So this month you have the opportunity to like balance those things, which is oh, you're welcome, Tanya. Have a good sleep, I hope. You can balance the wild you and the more domesticated, homely you in a way that is going to be really healing. So it's definitely not dismissing this. You must not, you know, you don't do that. It is integrating that, you know, integrating that into your understanding of yourself. And it'll be healing for you. It'll also be really healing for everybody around you as well. So yeah, both nighttime cards, both like very, well, they're kind of like going backwards in the numerology of it, because like we've got 18 here and we're going back to 17 on the star. But it's because you kind of like need to take a step back in your journey at the moment to just kind of integrate, you know, this integrative healing process that is happening for you, where you're integrating that wild with the more kind of like socially acceptable side of you as well, which is, you know, that's still you. So yeah, does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, Liz, you've waited very patiently because you did say you wanted one right at the beginning and I missed you. So let's do you now. Okay. And I know it's getting late, so thank you everyone for sticking with me for all this time. How long have we been? We've been like an hour and a half, yeah. So It's been long. Oh, good. I'm glad you're not fed up, Liz, of waiting. Okay. So what is for Liz in this moon cycle? Oh, beautiful. Okay, so we've got Two of Pentacles. So you're at the moment in a kind of like juggling act. There's probably like financial things, financial concerns, and health, just like trying to keep all the balls in the air, kind of, with that being on that. It might feel a bit precarious, but you are focused and you have got definitely like the skills to be able to keep that and to maintain that. And the most gorgeous thing that is coming on for you is this Sun as your like challenge card, which it's not a challenge. Well, it might be, because you might be so busy like working and juggling that you don't take the opportunities this month is going to offer you to actually like play. And I feel like literally woman's circle in this Sun card, like usually it's like children on this card, but I see that as being like I sometimes see it as like made by the crone in there, but here I'm seeing it for you as like being a woman's circle. So you've got, give yourself chance this month to stop like having to attend to all the practical matters. Like definitely don't take your eye off them. Make sure you do kind of keep that all ticking over, but also find time for connection, like more like heartfelt, joy-based connection. Taking a trip with your girlfriends, yes. Gorgeous. That's perfect for you. That is exactly the kind of energy for this cycle. Yeah, lovely and straightforward. So that is nice. Okay, Clary, I'm going to do your cards now. I'm sorry things have been tough. Let's see. And we're looking at this moon cycle. So we're looking from this new moon to the next new moon. So let's give those a shuffle. Oh, thanks, Helen. What did you think of yours? Because I think Elaine put your name down for you. Well, she told me that you were still here. It's okay. It's not a problem at all. Okay. Yeah, I know. I sometimes feel like that when I'm reading cards for like lots of people, and then a card comes out and I say it's this for somebody, and then the same card comes out and I say it's something different. And that feels a little bit awkward, but it's obviously like that's where intuition comes into it. So you have to hopefully I'm not being hypocritical. It is literally just like reading them in the way that they present to me, as I feel that that's what is needing to come out, if that makes sense. Like you guys know this, you know the cards as well. Okay, so Clary, what is coming up for you? Okay, so we've got Four of Pentacles for where you are in this current situation. And like, I didn't see exactly what you were saying, but I could see that you like were people saying, oh, I'm sorry to hear that kind of thing. So it definitely feels like a very stuck situation at the moment. Four of Pentacles is often seen as kind of like almost like a hoarding card. But here I'm seeing it more as like a kind of, it looks like a jail cell, looks like a prison. And like, it might be a very well, like you're being well looked after in this prison, but it's still a prison nonetheless, so you haven't quite got the agency to be able to do what you need to do. Like circumstances are forcing you to be kind of trapped at the moment, and even though like you've got the resources to be able to do things differently, you can't actually choose to do that right now, because the environment, the circumstances that you're in are keeping you there. It's not a personal choice. It is just circumstances that are there at the moment. But what's interesting is the challenge for you this month is is this Page of Swords, which is interesting, like a very young card for you, Clary, and also a very hopeful, I feel like, you know, it's definitely challenging, but challenging in the way of like a potential break free, break out. Like when you look at this card, like the whole card is filled with picture, you know, it's there's literally massive beams here, there's stone, there's iron, there's oak, it's all very filled and heavy. And then we have this where it's like there's grass here and it almost like fades out, and then there's all this like space, which I'm seeing as being like potential headspace. Like I'm not sure if there's going to be like a physical change this month, whether there'll be physical movement possible, maybe not, but there is going to be potential for like mental change, for like seeing things differently, for like understanding things differently, which is going to be a relief, and will probably allow those more like kind of young feeling oh, I'm so sorry. Oh dear, that's awful. Yeah, it's so hard losing pets because they are, you know, they're family, aren't they? So yeah, I'm so sorry for that. And like there is a little kitty here in this card, so I feel like that is supporting you in this like new perspective. 5 years. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wonder where you're finding this space. I wonder where you are where your thinking is going to go, that is going to change your perspective on things. Like it may not, like I say, kind of free you out of this prison, but it is going to change your perspective on being there in the first place. Oh, you're welcome, Stacey. Thanks for hanging out. So yeah, think on that this month, and look for those opportunities. Like it may well be like a learning opportunity as well. I feel like with all those books and quills, or writing, maybe it's writing, maybe you can take that pain and like journal it, write it, and see what comes from there, what space comes from there. A job opportunity, maybe, perhaps. It's definitely beginnings. Like when pages come up, there's beginnings, isn't there? But with it being swords, I feel like it's more like a mind shift change. And obviously once you make that mind shift change, then that opens up lots of other opportunities, doesn't it? So yeah, like I wouldn't rule that out. It's definitely a much more forward and free card than where you are at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Clary. That's really, really hard. Really hard. Yeah, I feel for you. That's difficult. And yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for coming and hanging out. I'm going to pull a couple of cards for us all as a general reading for this moon cycle. Oh, and another one's flying out. I'm going to put it back in. Yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me, for being here. It's always a little bit like daunting doing lives, so it's been really nice to have some familiar faces here, so thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't get around to like literally everyone with the readings, so I'm going to take 3, I think. Ooh. Oh, okay, good. We've got 6 of Cups, which I always see as being like a kind of, in this card, is more like a handing on of ancestral like lineage, almost like a handing on of lineage. So I feel like in this month we've got that opportunity to like take things forward, that gifts perhaps from like our direct lineage, or maybe it's like a more of a energetic lineage, or like a kind of intellectual lineage, and making them bloom, you know. It's really lovely, a really lovely card. And then we've got King of Cups. It's like super water. He's got a spyglass. I love that for Virgo as well, because like Virgo is very much like details. So it would almost be like a magnifying glass would be better. But he's given us the opportunity to take like a long view, see things from far away, because sometimes when you see things from far away, it gives you that perspective. So I feel like that's something we've got coming up for us this month as well, is the opportunity to take a different perspective, especially perhaps on things from the past, situations that we need to like heal from, move on from. We're going to have that opportunity this month. Yeah, there's like mermaids and dolphins in the back of that card as well. And then we've got this gorgeous Four of Wands card as well, that like really celebratory, yeah, just celebration, fun, women, again, women coming together and supporting other women. So when that happens, we can do really amazing things. Yeah. So I feel like there was a really nice cards actually. I'll take a photograph of those and put them in the community tab so that you can see them, the details of them, because I don't want to like keep everyone even longer here now because we've been such a long time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Warmest blessings to you all, and I'll see you very soon.